really, they lay out a mystery. And what I've been so interested in is, not just that, what is the relationship? What did Jeffrey Epstein want from Donald Trump, and how did he go about going, to get it? But I've been really looking at the right-wing reaction to that. The far-right MAGA people who I and Will watches most of our days, if there's one thing that they love, it is a leaked email. It is a dump. And for some reason, with this one, it's nothing to see here. Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist, the Sandy Hook denier, he has said that these emails just prove that, in fact, there is a deep state out to get Donald Trump. Pizzagate influencer Jack Posobiec, same sort of thing. He says these emails exonerate Trump for some reason. And I think it's fascinating that these people that really fuel these conspiracy theories, and again, have from WikiLeaks and John Podesta's emails, Hillary Clinton's campaign emails, have never shied away from an email leak. Suddenly, nothing to see.
Well, there's a narrative to spin. Let's play Alex Jones.
I know the stuff Congress released is all old news. It actually proves that Trump wasn't having sex with underage girls. We know the whole story, but because Trump handled it so horribly, saying, don't look at it, you're not my constituents, and did all that, is it even worth it to spend, an hour? It's riveting stuff. It's very interesting. I have all the clips, the witnesses, the victims, the lawyers, and I can show you how the Democrats, in the way the cherry pick these files, they say more is coming, and this is the best they've got. And when you actually know the story, it shows that Trump was the guy that actually first exposed Epstein.
So, there are the Alex Joneses, there's the Megyn Kellys, there's the Mike Cernoviches, et cetera. But there's also, there's other accounts online that we kind of follow to gauge reaction to Donald Trump. There's Patriot Voice, which is talking about how the MAGA movement is dead, and they're using this to get angry about other stuff too. Talking about Donald Trump courting billionaires, Will Sommer. They're talking about Donald Trump not being interested in America First. MTG brings this up in the post that she puts. It feels like it is now being used as a way to say Donald Trump has not been the guy that he promised to be.
I think we're seeing a lot more frustration from people in the MAGA movement and right-wing media about where Donald Trump is at right now. We saw him saying Americans aren't talented, so we need H-1B visas to bring people in. Just in the past few weeks, there has been a lot of growing dissatisfaction with Trump. There's this idea, prices aren't going down. And the Epstein emails here, look, as Brandy said, I think if any of these emails had come out about a Democratic politician, right-wing media would have been absolutely losing their mind. But at the same time, there is still some reaction here, even after several months of the White House trying to say, telling people, like we know Trump called Charlie Kirk, telling people saying, don't talk about this. Stop talking about the Epstein files. It's over. And there's still that kind of rumbling. And as you said, I think this is getting folded into this broader idea that Trump has become too close with the tech billionaires, with the mega wealthy, and abandoned sort of the idea of populist MAGA movement.
What do you think, Molly?
I agree with Will, but it's amazing if you think that he was always, his whole thing was that he was a rich guy, right? That he's gotten too close with some different group of rich people. Look, these politicians who are breaking with Trump over Epstein, they're not doing it because they're good people, right? They're doing it because they see, maybe it would be wonderful if it was, but...
Well, look, Nancy Mace is very, very adamant that she's on the side of survivors and having been the victim of abuse, she says.
Sure. But they're also politicians, right? But they are seeing political opportunity here. They see this is what cracks in the MAGA movement.
What's the political opportunity for Mace, who's running for governor? She's going to need his endorsement.
Well, I cannot necessarily speak to Mace, but certainly with MTG, certainly with Lauren Boebert, certainly they are seeing cracks in the MAGA movement. And that is why I don't think that anyone here is moving out of their own, belief in the importance of, and I say this as someone who wishes that they were, but I do think they're seeing, this is what cracks in a movement look like. Are people going, well, what about this? Because remember, all of these people for so long were like, anything he did where they were like, well, we can forgive it because of MAGA. And now all of a sudden they're like, well, what about this? And I do think that's meaningful.
Doug, I mean, we're talking about how this is exposing Donald Trump for not living up to the promises he made. It's always been a weird circle to try to square. Donald Trump, the billionaire, caring about the working class and not caring about other billionaires, but whatever. Is this all overblown? Is this not that big of a deal? Is it going to go away? Is the fervor and this demand for the Epstein files, did it have its moment? Did it reach its peak?
Well, I think it's always been a steady chatter. I remember, Katie, over the summer, I was in Lake Ozark, Missouri, and I stopped in a business called Teresa's Trump Shop. And the lady that I spoke to there, I don't know if this was Teresa herself, told me, what's the holdup on the Epstein files? You know, they're selling all the types of Donald Trump paraphernalia and merchandise. They didn't have any Epstein stuff, but she was concerned about that. So I think of that voter, but that's looking at one voter in one business with a microscope. And I think that's a lot of what we've been doing on this. So many times over the past 10 years, we've said, is this going to be when Republicans break with Donald Trump? And it turns out, no, not really. And so, you know, this is going to go through the House. A lot of Republicans will vote for it. And I think we'll have a lot of coverage that's going to be very breathless, saying, aha, now there are real cracks in the MAGA movement. But they're not going to go after Donald Trump on other stuff. So I do think we're blowing this up a lot more than is real, in part because discharge petitions don't happen very often. When I've worked on them, they've been spectacularly unsuccessful. So a lot of House voters will go for this on the Republican aisle. Does the Senate move this? Maybe, maybe not. Does Donald Trump sign this into law? No way. Absolutely not.
Oh, come on, though. If he doesn't sign it into law, isn't he just feeding the fire of conspiracy? If he says, no, I don't think anybody should see the full Epstein files, how does that not boomerang back around into his face?
Look, he is a master at distracting us from whatever we're focused on in Washington that isn't necessarily what voters are focused on. So if I'm advising Trump, one, I'd want all of this information out there already years ago so that you can move past it. And he knows that his base is going to go with him on almost anything that he does. Access Hollywood taught us that years ago. And then Donald Trump will do what he always does. He's a matador. He waves a red cape and we all follow it. My God, we're outraged that he threw a Halloween party. My God. The East Wing of the Capitol, or of the White House. But if you go 30 miles outside of Washington, D.C., people are saying, my God, that sandwich that I bought today was too expensive. And that's the conversation Trump and Republicans should and want to have with voters.
That is a more dangerous conversation.
Yeah, but they don't want to have it, right? Because the thing is that inflation is, I mean, some of the inflation is from the tariffs. So, and inflation, as we saw from Biden...
Isn't he admitting today that he's going to lower the tariff on coffee?
But you can't do that with a trade war. You can't... I mean, maybe Donald Trump can, and God bless him if he can, but, you know, historically, normal calculus says you go into a trade war, you don't end until the war is over. So I don't know how you do that. But I do think...
You know, but he's a pedophile with videos of him raping girls, then, of course, he's not going to sign it.